Okay, so welcome back to Tefilah. And we have a nice full room today, as opposed to an empty room last week when everybody was visiting the AACI. What was she called, that lady?
Natasha Hausdorff.
Natasha
Hausdorff.
Hausdorff, who apparently spoke brilliantly. So shout out for her if you ever get a chance to listen to her. Was it recorded, Barbara? Shame. Okay, well, we spoke about Tachanun last week, and we're going to carry on talking about Tachanun. We spoke about the short Tachanun. We went through it very carefully, and we saw that it is a very personal prayer. It's in the first person, singular, as opposed to first person plural. So let's just have a look at it and see what just to tell you exactly what we're talking about. Oh, this won't help here because I'm in a Shabbos. Never mind. Thank you very much. We're over here. I'll just borrow it, Goldie. We're over here. Tachanun. It's all in the first person singular to start with. Vayom David al Gad Sali Ma'od. And there it is. Rachum v'chanun chatati lefanecha. I have sinned. Rachem alai v'kabel tachanunai. First person singular. Be merciful upon me and accept my supplications. The whole of the next paragraph is all in the singular. Tochicheni, tiyasreini, choneini. All of these things are in the singular. It's a very personal prayer. We spoke about this last week, and then we spoke about the idea of nefilat apayim, falling on your face. So we talked about that coming from Joshua, who fell on his face in front of the ark after the debacle of which battle? Ai, Battle of Ai. And because he fell on his face in front of the ark, then we only put our heads down on our arms if there is a Sefer Torah.
Left arm.
Left arm. Right arm. If you are
right-handed.
Mincha.
Yeah.
If you're right-handed.
Yeah.
Right arm at Shacharis.
Really?
Yeah, because you've got your tefillin on your left arm.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So yes, Johnny.
I was told that also you should cover your arm by somebody told me once that I did it wrong.
You should put something over your arm, either a sweater or your talis, so that you're not directly on your arm. There's another two places, one place and one time that you also put your head down, even if there isn't a Sefer Torah. One place and one
during the drosha
time situation. Yeah, no, you're meant to just sort of make it look like you're listening during the drosha. You're not meant to make it so obvious. No, during Tachanun, I mean. So in Tachanun, we don't put our head down if there's no Sefer Torah, except if you are in Yerushalayim. There is an opinion that says that if you're in Yerushalayim, even if there's no Sefer Torah there, you're not in Shul and you're in Yerushalayim, because Ir HaKodesh, and presumably it means the old city of Jerusalem, although there are opinions that means the whole of modern day Jerusalem as well. The Jerusalem's a holy place. It's as if there is a Sefer Torah there. So if you're in Jerusalem, you can put your head on your arm for Tachanun, even if you are not. Let's say you're in a hotel in Jerusalem and you're not in a shul. And there is a time as well, which is very interesting. If you are davening shacharit at home, or mincha for that matter, and you are davening at the same time that the Kehillah is davening, so let's say mincha today was 4:15, right? So you're davening at home for one reason or another. You can't get to shul, you're davening at home, and so you'll be davening at the same time. then you can put your head down because you're as if you're in with that with the community. It's quite an interesting idea.
But is that anywhere or just in Yerushalayim?
No, that's anywhere.
That's anywhere.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the Safar daven twice, Tachanun and Mincha? Why don't they daven Mincha, Tachanun?
Why don't the Sephardim do Tachanun at
No
Mincha?
Safar, no Safar like we are.
Okay, so they do.
And
Nusach
Mincha,
does do
Yes.
Mincha, yes. There is one opinion, something to do with Kabbalah. I'm not sure. I couldn't find a full reason other than to say it's due to Kabbalah. One doesn't say Tachanun after Shkia, after sunset. So if you daven Mincha after sunset, which is what we used to do here, you don't say Tachanun. So for many years, we did not say Tachanun at Mincha here in this shul.
yeah.
When we first started to do Mincha and Mariv in this shul, which was about 11, 12 years ago, Mincha was after Shkia, and so we didn't do Tachanun. We then brought Mincha forward, so it was before Shkia, but we still didn't say Tachanun.
Yeah.
All right, because by that time, it was like almost like the minhag of the place, right? So then when Ravi Do left, I wanted to institute that we would say Tachanun again. Not again, we would actually introduce Tachanun at Mincha because it should have been said. Only I didn't want to do that because I felt it was disrespectful to Ravi Do. So when Rav Yuval came, I suggested that, after a decent length of time, what do they call it? A decent length of time, we would introduce Tachanun, which is what we did. However, if you daven Mincha after Shkia, you don't say Tachanun. Now, which group of people, generally speaking, would be likely to be davening Mincha after Shkia? Chassidim. Yeah, Chassidim are very...
Yeah, I don't know why we want to.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't really, but the Chassidim tend to have a bit of a problem getting their act together to do things on time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You often find in airports Hasidim putting on their tefillin at Mincha and all sorts of. The Hasidic timekeeping is not their strong point, and so you often find that because of that, a lot of Hasidim don't say Tachanun at all because of the same reasons that we did here. They're so used to not saying it, it almost becomes a minhag not to say it. Hasidim also don't say Tachanun on a day when there is a yortzeit. Okay, now we're going to come to that. Well, we'll come to it very shortly. We're going to come to the days you don't say Tachanun, okay, and why? Because there's all sorts of funny reasons for it.
I can never remember saying Tachanun in Vine Street at Mincha.
You never said Tachanun at Vine Street?
I can't remember, honestly, I can't remember it, no.
But then you must have probably davened. Did you daven Mincha and then marry straight away?
I can't remember the times.
Can you remember if there was a drosha between Mincha and Mariv, or was it Mincha and straight into Mariv?
Mincha in the evening, so no Mincha in the Mariv. I can't remember.
Most places in that I'm used to in Chutz La'aretz, daven Mincha and Mariv straight away. You finish Kaddish of after Aleinu and you're on to the Hurachov.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, remember in England at least. In English, at least, you've got over an hour between Shkia and Tzeit HaKochavim. So you could be before Shkia, it could be after Plag. But often it will be after Shkia, but before Tzeit. So you wouldn't have that. So it's variable. Where I davened, in the Stiebel, in Prestwich, and in Shrubberies early before that, we always said Tachanun at Mincha. I'd never heard of not saying Tachanun at Mincha until I came here, actually. I thought this is weird. Well,
I never heard of Birchas Kohanim at every occasion.
That's why.
When I lived in
not to say it.
Yeah, well, that's because outside of Israel we don't say Birchas Kohanim every day. We've been right. So let's talk about the long Tachanun. Now, why do we do the long Tachanun on Monday and Thursday? That's the first question.
That's the day that people came to the market.
Okay, that is true. Let's go back one step. The reason that we lane on a Monday and Thursday is because those were the days that were market days, and that people would all come into the village or the town or wherever it was for the market. So they would gather together and then they would lay.
Market where? Market in the temple,
wherever they
Or the shtetl, or here in Eretz
but
Israel.
not in Israel before the fall of the temples.
Before the fall of the temples, we didn't have davening. We had korbanos.
That's all. Yeah.
Right?
Only I thought we laid on Monday and Thursday because you mustn't go more than 3 days.
Okay,
without-
so you mustn't go more than 3 days. Okay, fair enough. So why don't you could do Shabbos, and you could do Tuesday. All right. Okay. Why Monday and Thursday? It works out that those were the days where people went into town for the markets. Okay, so that's when they instituted the times of lane, the days to lane out of the Sefer Torah. I think the idea of not going 3 days without laning actually was a result of, as opposed to the reason for, cause and effect. So yes, so we lane on a Monday and Thursday because of the market days. But why do we say a long Tachanun on a Monday and Thursday? Is it connected with laning, or is it connected with market days, or is it just pure coincidence that twice a week we answer say long Tachanun? What do you think?
Yes, if it's more about the first bit is about what you say about your own personal one, and this second one is more about a congregational or more
This is in the
plural. So
It's both.
that's when the second part.
Yeah,
The long
long-
part.
long-
That's when more people are around to be pluralistic about.
Okay, so Jeff says that more people around, and therefore the longer Tachanun is not in the first person; it is in the first person, but in plural, and so that makes sense. The reason that the rabbis give for doing the long Tachanun is that when you are laning and you have the Sefer Torah out, or you're going to have the Sefer Torah out, and it's a day where you have the Sefer Torah, it's called an 8 ratzon. It's called a time
Of
8
wanting.
ratzon, a time of willingness. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is willing. You know the expression Yehi ratzon?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Yehi
May-
ratzon. May it be your will.
Maybe you
So
will,
an 8 ratzon, 8 with an ayin, is time,
Time,
right?
yeah.
8 is time. So the word ata with an ayin means
now.
now. It's related to time. Okay. So 8 ratzon is a time of when God is receptive. That's a word, receptive to our prayers. So when we are laning, that is known as an 8 ratzon. What we have a whole month of it being 8 ratzon, about 40 days actually, from Rosh Chodesh Elul all the way through till Yom Kippur is also called an 8 ratzon. Where do we hear that expression 8 ratzon, which we are currently saying every day? Ani tefilati lecha
8 ratzon.
Hashem 8 ratzon. What does that mean? Va'ani,
And
and
I,
I, tefilati,
my prayer
my prayer, lecha,
to you.
to you, Hashem, 8 ratzon should be at a
At a time.
receptive time.
Of reception,
Okay?
Yeah.
Where do we say it every single day right now?
Isn't it in Volunteer?
One of the Avina Malkanus.
Yes, one of the Avinu Malkanus.
Ah,
Here
yeah.
it is. Let's see if I can just put my finger on it towards the end.
Shah Tava, isn't it?
Here we go. Here we go. Avinu Malkeinu, Tehei Hasha Hazot.
Yeah,
Tehei Hasha Hazot.
Yeah.
Okay, Tehei, let it be.
Avinu
Let
Malkeinu
it
is
be.
right, yeah.
Right, Hasha Hazot.
Well done.
This time, this hour, let this hour be Sha'at Rachamim.
An hour of mercy.
An hour of mercy, a time of mercy. The 8 Ratzon. And
a time of receptiveness. Yeah.
Milafanecha, before you. So 8 ratzon. So it's an 8 ratzon, and if it's an 8 ratzon, then we want to get in as much of our tachanunim. What are tachanunim? What is tachanunim? Supplications. Yeah, nothing to do with being supple. Supplications. We want to get our supplications in on an 8 ratzon. So Mondays and Thursdays is considered an 8 ratzon because we lane, and therefore the Chachamim instituted that we do the long Tachanun. Now, the order of doing the long Tachanun is different between Nusach Sfard and Nusach Ashkenaz, as you will all be aware, except for Johnny, who's always daven Nusach Sfard. The rest of us are all been used to davening Nusach Ashkenaz until we got here. And
No, I was used to
davening. You also
Nusach.
daven Nusach Sfard, even in
Yeah.
London. You daven? No, you probably didn't
In
daven.
London,
You were only a kid, weren't you?
I was 10, but no, that was Yekish.
Well, Yekish would have davened.
No, it
Nusach
was Ashkenaz. Yeah.
Snack.
Yeah, so you continue to daven Nusach Ashkenaz. That's right. So there is a different order. I don't think it really is of any great significance of what the order is. We've spoken about the 8 Ratzon. So what do we say in this long version? What's it all about?
Never say it.
We never say it. Okay.
It seems a lot of it seems when I've looked through it, it seems repetition.
Okay, so Jeff says there's a lot of
I'm not a morning
repetition.
person.
Or ideas and things.
So listen to this. Rather than blaming God or a specific oppressor for the disasters that have fallen the people, these prayers admit that Israel has only received its just punishment for its failure to faithfully fulfill the terms of the covenant. Pleading for divine mercy and forgiveness, the worshippers pray that the living and everlasting God will not forsake his people, even though we might deserve it. So this long Tachanun is really, as it were, saying mea culpa. We have been guilty of what we of not behaving properly, and therefore we are asking for chen, right? Chen, which is the root of the word Tachanun, isn't it? Tachanun has got the word chen in it. And what is chen, Barbara? Grace, meaning something that we actually don't really deserve. That's what chen is, as opposed to chesed or rachamim. Chen specifically is asking for a favor, asking for grace, something that we don't deserve. Now, there is so who was it that established the idea that the rabbinical courts convened on Monday and Thursday because of the market days? Who was it that first introduced the sitting of the Beis Din? In those days, Beis Din only used to sit on a Monday and Thursday because that's when people came to town.
It was Ezra.
Ezra, correct. And what else did Ezra institute?
I thought he introduced the laning.
He did, exactly. So it's connected. So the two things are connected. So now.
What was the other thing, Johnny? What was the other thing Ezra did?
He instituted that their Beis Din should sit on a Monday and Thursday, and that we should lane on a Monday and Thursday. Now, according to the Kabbalah, whilst we are busy with our Beis Din, Lamata, there is a Beis Din Lamala. Okay, where do we talk about that idea of Beis Din Lamala and Beis Din Lamata?
Yom Kippur.
Go on, where?
In the bit we do it after Shiur before.
Okay, Jeff says
in the Avodah, is it?
Jeff says the thing we do after what?
Well, after davening in the morning, isn't it? And then
the thing we do after davening in the morning when, Jeff?
No?
Or Erev Yom Kippur.
No, it's Erev Rosh Hashanah. So Jeff quite rightly says the thing we do after davening on Erev Rosh Hashanah, which is called the annulment of vows, Hatarat
Nadarim.
Hatarat Nadarim. Let's have a look and see if we have got Hatarat Nadarim.
Yeah.
We might have a Hatarat.
I haven't done it for a
Nadarim
few
in this.
years because I always did it after Hoshana Rabbah, and here they do it much earlier.
Yeah, you meant
And
to
I
do
never
Erev Rosh Hashanah. Shana Rabbah's your last opportunity.
Yeah. Well, we always
You
did it on
like to leave it
Hoshana
to the
Rabbah,
last minute, huh?
but here nobody does it on Hoshana Rabbah, so I never find
Because
people.
we've already
do
done it. We've finished it. We've done it already.
Yeah.
Let's just see if I've got it here. Otherwise, I'll just nip out and get a machzah. Shana Rabbah.
Yeshiva Shamala.
Okay, Yeshiva Shamala, Yeshiva Shamato. That's true.
Yeah.
That's in Kol Nidre. Yes.
On Nidre, yeah.
I was thinking of a Taurus and Dorim, but you're right.
It's the same thing. Called Nidre and Hatoras and Dome is actually the same principle.
No, it's not.
What? It's not?
Yeah.
Of course it is. Kol Nidre is the communal, and Hatoras and Dome is more more personal, but it's the same thing. Huh?
I've got it in here.
You're disavowing your vows, actually, right?
Page 927.
Okay, here we are. So we have Hatoras and Dorim. Let's have a look at Hatoras and Dorim. Oops. Hatoras and Dorim. Hatoras and Dorim. Page 2, in fact.
Which max is that?
This is the art scroll master. Okay, so what do we say? We say we ask for annulment of all our vows, and the judges. Remember what happens at that thing we do, Jeff?
Yes.
Right, we all stand up, and they have three Dayanim sat opposite us, and we say our bit where we say, "I regret all the vows that I've made. They should retrospectively be annulled," and this is what the judges then say 3 times afterwards. They say, I'll say it in English: "May everything be permitted to you. May everything be forgiven you. May everything be allowed you. There does not exist any vow, oath, Nazirism, Chayrim, prohibition, konam, ostracism, excommunication, or curse. But there does exist pardon, forgiveness, and atonement. And just as the earthly court permits them, so may they be permitted in the heavenly court." And in Hebrew, Kashem shematirim bevet din shel mata, kach yiyu mutarim bevet din shel ma'ala. Just as we, the bet din down here, those 3 people before whom we are expressing these annulment of vows, just as they have annulled these vows, so should the Beit Din Shel Ma'ala, the heavenly, the Beit Din Ma'ala means up, Mata means down, the Beit Din up there should also forgive our vows. Now, you're right about Kol Nidre. Let's have a look at Kol Nidre. I didn't think of that one straight away. I thought about Torah Nadorim, but let's have a look at Kol Nidre.
It's the verse before Kol Nidre, Al Dat Hamakom, John.
Yeah, just get the right place. 1 second. Mariv li Yom Kippur. No, I've gone too far, haven't I?
Al Dat Hamakom.
Here we go. Al Dat Hamakom. Right. Al Dat. What's Dat Hamakom?
On the opinion.
Well, not the opinion. The approval.
The approval, yeah.
With the approval of Hamakom, Hashem, but Al Dat Hakahal, and with the approval of
the congregation.
So there again, you've got a sort of a comparison, as it were, between up and down. Yeshiva shel ma'ala. What's a yeshiva?
Meeting.
A meeting.
Yeah.
And we think of the word yeshiva meaning, yeshiva boys, right? Sitting in a yeshiva. What does the word yeshiva mean?
Fitting.
Right. And when you have a meeting of the Vard, Jeff will be going to the meetings of the Vard, you have a yeshivat Vard, right? Yeshivat Vard. And Assefa is more a gathering, yeah. A yeshivat Vard is what it's called when you have Pagisha is
a
meeting. We will have a Pagisha between you and me. You might have an appointment with me, or I have an appointment with you. That's Pagisha. A yeshiva.
Convocation, our scroll says. A
convocation, yes. So with the convocation or the gathering or the meeting above, ubi yeshiva shel mata, and with this gathering below here on Kol Nidre, right? Without looking. What are we asking for here? With the approval of God, with the approval of the community, with the approval of the Beis Din up there and the Beis Din down here. That's Al Data Makom, means with the approval of what we're asking for.
You're asking for forgive
That's not Mavirin. Matirin
For permission.
Yes, permission for what?
For permission to be allowed to be excused from our vows.
No.
No, it's not. It's
No.
to pray.
To pray with the congregation.
No, to pray with
Everybody.
which
With- okay,
particularly
so
which
with
kind of people?
With the bad people.
Yeah.
With our varionim, with
Anu matirin, we permit lehit palel to
Yeah.
pray
with the
im ha'avarianim.
sinners, with the sinners.
With the sinners.
Yes.
Yes, I'm surprised you didn't remember that, Philip.
I lost the thread for a
Which
minute.
actually means us.
Which means yes. So what happens is, normally speaking, if you've got sinners amongst you, it's not a good thing to be amongst sinners. So we give permission to all of us, because I don't know who's the sinners around here. Maybe it's me, maybe it's you, right? So the idea here is that before we get stuck into Yom Kippur, we give permission, with the permission of Hashem, with the permission of the Kahal, that everybody can pray with everybody else, even if they are avarianim. What's the root of that word, avarianim?
Go over. That wall.
Aveira.
Vera.
Aveira, which means to transgress. Go over. Why is an Aveira to go over?
Go over the thin red line.
Yes,
Yeah.
you cross the red line. You cross the line from right to wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
The left.
So
Man on the station platform.
yes, you've gone over the yellow line. Al data makom al data ka'al v'shiva shel mala v'shiva shel mata anu matirin litpalel im ha'avarianim. Very interesting. Okay, so you can see from those two things that the Beit Din Shel Mala is somehow or other got a connection to the Beit Din Shel Mata. So on the days that Ezra instituted that there should be a Beit Din Shel Mata, meaning a court here in this world, Mondays and Thursdays, that's when the Beit Din sat. And those days, it's as if the Beit Din Shel Mala is also in session, as it were, and therefore it's appropriate for us to pour out our plea in mitigation, if you like, our pleas for mercy with a long Tachanun. That's how we got to say long Tachanun.
We plead our case.
Yeah. So Tachanun is recited, long Tachanun is recited on these days with the hope that God will show mercy to those who humbly seek forgiveness for their transgressions. Okay, now that's when we do say Tachanun. Right, now then, when don't we say Tachanun? Well, if you're a Chassidisha, almost never, right? Because okay, let's look at the principles, and then we'll go on to the individual things, of which one of those is a bris in shul.
Joyous occasions.
Joyous occasions. Okay, that's a good start. On joyous occasions, we don't say Tachanun. Why not, Frank?
Because it's a bit of
Huh?
Because
Because Art Scroll says so. Okay, I'd like a more meaty sort of answer.
because it's a bit of a spell breaker. I mean,
But it's a miserable thing.
yeah.
Plenty of miserable
But
prayers.
don't detract from that by pointing out our sins and our failings and so on.
Okay, so it's very interesting because
it introduces a degree of negativity into a positive.
we want to continue with the simple.
yeah, a simcha is not a time for banging your chest and throwing yourself on your hand. And remember what we said last week? There are 3 pieces of choreography for Tachanun, aren't there? Hand down on your head on your hand. That's Tefilah Tapayim. Shoma Yisrael, sitting straight, and then Va'anachnu lo neida ma na'aseh, which means
And
we
won't
do
know.
not know what we're doing, and so you stand up. So we've got all 3 postures. We don't know what we're doing. We're all over the place here. We're throwing ourselves at the mercy. We're going down. We're sitting up. We're standing up. We don't know where we are. It's not conducive to do that, or a simcha is not conducive for that behavior. So on a day where there is a joyous occasion, we don't say Tachanun. Yes,
But
Jeff.
there seems to be a differentiation. We have the mitzvahs on.
Okay. We'll come to the mitzvahs.
and
It's a fair
that's not
question.
Considered a joyous.
Very fair question. Very fair question. Let's put that onto the side in a minute, but we'll answer the question in a
They
minute.
don't say on yacht.
Okay, that's another good question. Let's stick for the moment with the happy days. Yeah, it depends. So let's stick with the happy days for the moment. Warren said a joyous occasion, and Warren said, for example, a bris in shul. That's obviously a joyous occasion. What are the joyous occasions? A chatan in shul.
Bar Mitzvah.
And the balsam.
A chatan who is in the first week, in his Sheva Brochas week, if he's in shul, the simcha that a chatan brings with him means that Tachanun is not appropriate. Now, really interestingly, this has got to be an Ashkenaz psak, this. The Ashkenaz, there is a psak, I don't know if it's Ashkenaz, but it probably is because you'll hear the content of it, says that there is an opinion that a chatan should not go to shul during his Sheva Brochas week because it'll make them too happy and they won't say Tachanun. Have you ever heard?
No.
I find that psak really an upside down psak. I've not made it up. There is an opinion that says a chatan should not go to shul during Sheva Brachos because he'll stop the people from saying Tachanun.
That's about Bar Mitzvah, Johnny.
Coming to Bar Mitzvah in a minute, yeah.
Okay, so if you have a Brit Milah in the morning, and the Sunday goes to Mincha in the afternoon.
No, once the Brit's done, it's finished.
Because my understanding was that if there's a Sunday in the
Okay,
congregation.
so if the Brit has not yet been, so normally you have the Brit after Shacharit. That's where you normally have it. Okay, like before Aleinu. That's the classic time to have a Brit is after Shacharit, the end of Shacharit before Aleinu. So at the time of Tachanun, there has not yet been a Brit, but there's going to be a Brit in shul. So if the Brit is going to be in shul, even if the Sandik, the Moel, or the father is not there, but the Brit is going to be in shul. So let's say here, somebody's hired the shul and they're going to have a Brit later on in the morning, right? There is an opinion that says this place is patur from Tachanun.
So why is the Sunday mentioned?
Okay. However, if there is a Brit in another place, let's say there is a Brit in a house, as we often do in Chutz La'aretz, not so much here, but let's say we do it in a house. But either the father of the baby, the Moel, or the Sandak is here in shul, you don't say Tachanun.
But only for Shacharit, not for Mincha.
Okay, coming to it. Wait, slowly. Shacharit, first of all, Shacharit. Okay. Why? Because they are called Ba'alei Brit. They are the Ba'alei Simcha, but they're called Ba'alei Brit. They are the ones that are performing the Brit. There's the father who's doing the mitzvah on behalf of his child. There's the Moel who is the Shaliach of the father. And there is the Sandak who is in some ways considered to be on his knees. He's considered to be part of that Simcha. In fact, very interestingly, the Sandak is considered the highest of all of those three positions, meaning as follows. If you have laning on a bris day, so you have a bris on a Monday or a Thursday, and there is a Moel, Sandak, or Avi Ben, or the father in shul, they are a chiyuv for an aliyah, assuming there's no yortzeit. Yortzeit trumps them. Assuming there's no yortzeit, okay? But let's say there's a Kohen and a Levi there, and they don't want to give up their aliyah, which they don't have to. Okay, you only got one aliyah. Who are you going to give it to? The father, the Moel, or the Sandak? Why? Because I just said so. What would you have thought? You'd have thought the father, wouldn't you? Yeah. Intuitively, you would say the father. Actually, it's not. It's the Sandak. The order is Sandak, father, Moel.
And the reason?
And the reason is that the Sandik it's a huge honor to be Sandik, and the Sandik has the greatest simcha on that day, even more than the father. And the reason for that, actually, I'm not sure whether it's chicken and egg here. The Sandik, we're digressing, but it's interesting. The Sandik had a responsibility back in the day. The Sandik had a responsibility to keep the family of the baby, pay for the living expenses of the family of the baby for a significant period of time, a couple of weeks, whatever it was. I'm not sure exactly. I think it was 2 weeks. Why? Because the father can't go out to work. He's busy looking after his wife and the baby and one thing and another. And so the Sandik would take on to do that. And so the Sandik was often, the wealthy fellow of the town, of the shtetl, because nobody else could afford to do it. But it's a massive honor to be a Sandik. It's the biggest honor of all. So because it's the biggest honor of all, he gets the biggest simcha. He feels the greatest simcha.
At the first Rosh Hashiva in Manchester was my Sandik. My Sandik.
Moshe Yitzchak.
Yeah, our Rosh Hashiva's father.
Yeah, Reb Moshe Yitzchak. Yeah. So
he's sitting on the Kisei Shel Eliyahu as well, isn't he?
Yeah, so he sits on the Kisei Shel Eliyahu, and he's great, a great simcha. So he gets the greatest simcha. He gets the greatest honor. So he gets the aliyah if there's only one going. So if any of those three Baalei Brit are in shul, even if the bris is not going to be in shul, then there's no Tachanun. So you can imagine on a Monday or a Thursday when I was in shul and I had a bris, which was very often, I was dead popular because there's no Tachanun, especially Monday and Thursday, long Tachanun. No, and there was a sign. I only ever wore, when I had a bris, I always wore a short-sleeved white shirt. Short sleeves because it didn't get in the way. White shirt because it's a simcha, right? So when I walked into shul in the morning and I had a short-sleeved white shirt, everybody was happy. No Tachanun. So yeah, a bris. What else? What other? We've said a bris, a chosun,
Bar Mitzvah.
Rosh Chodesh. Why Rosh Chodesh? What? So
we say Hallel.
We say Hallel. Correct. It's a happy occasion. Same.
Shabbat Yom Tov.
Shabbat, Yom Tov, also. Shiva. Come back to Shiva. That's not part. It's not the happy bit. There's another reason why we don't say Tachanun. We're still on the happy bit at the moment, although some people might be, find it happy. So
engagement.
No.
Bar Mitzvah.
No, Bar Mitzvah. Okay, we've tried to put it off a few times.
So
We have to talk about Bar
I'm
Mitzvah.
not on reading, so I didn't know this.
Go on.
The first 8 days of Sivan.
Oh, okay, yes, there's the Tashlumim. Yes, the 8 days of first 8 days of Sivan. Why?
Because Shavuos is coming. Chag Matan Torah.
Okay, it's not the 8 days. According to that, it is, but according to so many poskim, which is what we do here, 13 actually. Why?
Because there's supposed to be 7 days Yom Tov after.
Yeah, you've got 7 days of Sheva Brachos. Matan Torah was the wedding of Bnei Israel with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you've got a week of Sheva Brachos. So that's why up till the 13th. What about before? It was called Shloshet Yemei Hagbala. 3 days of preparation before Matan Torah. Remember, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, for 2 days, you have to prepare yourself. Don't draw near to a woman. Go and make sure that you're not tamei. Moshe Rabbeinu added on an extra day of his own to make it 3 days. Okay, Machmir. 3 days. And then you've got Rosh Chodesh. So from Rosh Chodesh Sivan till the 13th, no Tachanun, according to many opinions. The whole of Chodesh Nisan. Why? Yes, it's a Zman Geula. It's a time of redemption. It's a time of joy. It's a time of renewal. It's a time of freedom. Not appropriate for miserable Tachanun. Yes, Jeff. Chanukah, we don't say for the same reason. Purim, we don't say for the same reason. Shushan Purim, we don't say for the same reason. Purim Katan, what's Purim Katan?
You're outside. No.
Pesach Sheni, we also don't. What's Purim Katan?
Shushan Purim.
Shushan Purim?
No, Shushan Purim is Shushan Purim. Yes, when there's 2 months of Adar, which month is Purim in?
Second.
So Purim, so the 14th of Adar Rishon is called Purim Katan. So Purim Katan, Shushan Purim Katan. Also, we don't say.
More modern things. Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Yom Yerushalayim.
Yom Yerushalayim. All of these days. Isru Chag again. There's another one. Isru Chag we don't say. Correct. And
Tisha B'Av.
Tisha B'Av. Why Tisha B'Av? It's not such a happy day.
Could we include that? Sorry.
It will be.
Yes, because it will be. It's called Tisha B'Av is referred to as Moed. Moed. And what is a Moed?
An intermediate period.
Chol HaMoed. What is that? Moed is a festival, yeah? Eila Moadei.
These are the other
Hashem.
festivals, yeah.
These are the festivals of Hashem. Tisha B'Av is referred to as Moed because when Mashiach will come, whatever that means, Tisha B'Av will be transformed into a day of festivities.
Yom Kippur to Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, Johnny.
Tu B'Shvat, Tu B'Av, all of these days where there is some simcha. Cholomod, definitely we don't. And in fact, we don't say, no, we do say it during the Seres Yemei Tshuva.
Yeah, but I said
from Yom Kippur, so I didn't hear the beginning of that, yeah. From Yom Kippur all the way through to Rosh
Chodesh Cheshvan.
We don't say Tachanun. Why not? Why not after Isru Chag? Why not? Well, what's so great about the end of Tishrei? Well, it's all to do with the numbers of days because we've already, if you work it out, if there are more days that you don't say Tachanun in Tishrei than there are that you do. Work it out. 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, Shabbos, Shuva, Yom Kippur, Erev Yom Tov, Erev Sukkot, right? That's 5. 8 days of Sukkot, 13. Isru Chag, 14. There must be another one somewhere that I've missed. 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, yeah. So you got 15 days, which is more than half the month. So you're already more than half the month. You don't say it the whole the rest of that.
Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon. Why we don't say Tachanun on Friday afternoon?
Shabbos.
Not because we're busy getting ready for Shabbos, because the simcha of Shabbos has already descended upon us. Same for Erev Yom Tov. So any day where we don't say Tachanun, we don't say Tachanun on the mincha before. So Erev Rosh Chodesh, we don't say Tachanun. Erev Tu B'Av, we won't say Tachanun at mincha. So those are all the happy days that we don't say Tachanun. Now, the paradox almost is that we don't say Tachanun on a Yortzeit, which is a sad day, and in a Shiva house, which is a sad day, sad time. Now, why is that? I understand why we wouldn't say it on a happy day.
You mean the individuals don't say it on their yachts?
Yortzeit, we'll come to that in a minute because there is an opinion on that actually.
What did you say about Yortzeit?
I'm talking about a Yortzeit of a Rebbe. Why do the Hasidim? Why do the Hasidim not say Tachanun on the Rebbe's Yortzeit?
It would tip them over the edge if they're already.
I mean, they're already so miserable that they might commit suicide.
But he's not really dead.
He's not really dead. No, I don't think any of these are the right answer. Anybody like to try something different?
Celebration of his life.
Yeah, it's a Hilulah. What do the Hasidim call a Yortzeit of a big tzaddik? A Hilulah. You heard that expression? The Hilulah, the Abu Seichera was last Motzi Shabbos. Abu Seichera, yeah, he was. You know, the Baba Sali and all that stuff, right? The Hilulah is called, the Yortzeit is called the Hilulah. What do you think the root of that word is?
Hallel.
Hallel, yeah. It's a day of praise. It's a day when a tzaddik goes to Shamayim. It's some sort of a day of holiness, a day to be celebrated that his holy soul has returned to its maker, it's. I'll read you what it says here. In the Hasidic congregations, Tachanun is not said on the Yortzeit of a Rebbe, since this is regarded as an uplifting day that provides an opportunity for spiritual renewal rather than one of abject sadness. Okay, so that's what you're on a Yortzeit. Now, there is an opinion that says that on a Yortzeit for one's parent, one doesn't say Tachanun. Now, I've never seen that done. I've read about it and I've never seen it done. I don't know which group of people would do that for the same reason that you are spiritually uplifted and you shouldn't be overly sad. I've never seen that done.
Okay, and when someone's sitting shiva and you're saying chakrit in the shiva house, no one says.
No one says it.
But if the Ovel is in shul, only he doesn't say it, for the rest of the congregation.
Okay, so let me say that out loud. Jeff is correct. If you are in a shiva house, a bet avel, you don't say Tachanun. Why? Because a bet avel is, well, first of all, it's sad enough already, and and it's a bit like what Jeff said. We don't want to put them over, so we don't need any additional sadness. That's one opinion. Another opinion is that the bet at a bet avel, it's almost like a bet din shel mala. Okay, it's a judgment. What do we say when somebody dies? They go,
Baruch Dayan
Ha'emet. Blessed is the judge of truth, because he has gone to his ultimate judgment, to his final judgment. So a shiva house is almost like a bet din, and if you're having a bet din, it's not a good idea having a bet din, which actually goes against what we said earlier on. But you don't want to be saying chatati, ashamnu, bagadnu, and all that sort of.
Because you
don't want to invite judgment upon yourself, which goes against what we said earlier on, which is that we do the long Tachanun on a Monday and Thursday.
You're digging your own grave.
But there you are. It's we don't always have consistency, do we, in Judaism? So that's why we don't do it a bet avel. I think it's more likely to be the case that it's already sad enough. Yes, Frank.
A couple of observations. Whilst one wouldn't say Tachanun in the bet avel, if it happens to be during the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, I think you would still say Tachanun in Slichot in the bet avel.
Yeah, I think you probably. Yes, I think you would. I think you would. I'm just trying to remember. I've got a vague thing in the back of my mind that there is some opinion that you don't say slichot in a bet avel either. But I don't think we paskin like that. But I think I don't quote me on that. I couldn't be sure.
What happens if an avel comes to shul, Johnny, and for instead of sitting a shiva at home?
Just about to come to that now. Yes, Graham, I'll send the recording. Jeff's point, and Johnny's just repeated it. What if the avel comes to shul, as often comes here, comes to shul for shacharit? Okay, depends whether he's davening for the Omud. If he's not davening for the Omud, then he doesn't say Tachanun, but everybody else does. If, however, he is davening for the Omud, the avel himself, the shul becomes, as it were, a beit avel, and therefore nobody says Tachanun.
That's not what happened in London a few weeks ago, actually.
Oh, okay, well that's.
I was asked to daven. I didn't think that an avel would daven from the Omud during shiva.
No,
if you're davening in your home, yes. If you go to shul, no. When I was asked to daven from the Omud during shiva, I said, "Well, what do I do about Tachanun?" And I was told, "You say it."
No, I don't think that's right.
No.
I don't think that's right. There may well be an opinion that says that's not what. Certainly not how I pass it.
In our shul, when the family really, there was no shiva at home, only they came to shul, and that was about it. He treated that as the
Beit Avel.
Yeah.
The question is whether it's a Beit Avel or whether the Avel has come to the Bet Knesset. If the Avel is davening before the Omud, it's as if it's a Bet Avel, and nobody says Tachanun. That's certainly the psak that I've read. Let me just see. I might have printed a whole load of stuff out. That might be in it.
That seems wrong as well, doesn't it? You shouldn't let the avel daven from the Omid. I think that's the way forward.
Well,
we certainly in Stammer wouldn't allow it.
That may well be.
That way, everyone can.
Well, that way you don't have a problem.
You don't have a problem. Exactly.
I was in Boreham Wood, and I was asked. I said, "No, I can't. I'm in shiva," and they said, "No, you can," and says Tachanun.
Well, you see, what can I say, Frank?
So somebody mentioned Bar Mitzvah. We haven't. Did we talk about Bar Mitzvah?
No, not yet. But yeah.
Okay, so why do we say Tachanun on Bar Mitzvah?
Don't say.
Well, we do.
We do.
Oh, well, it's them or we don't.
That's federation.
I'm not sure that we can bring proofs from Minhag Stanmore. I'm not sure.
Right there, their own
Yeah,
story,
their own
really.
nusach.
I'll have to have a word with Rabbi Cohen.
Nusach Stanmore.
We're
Okay.
federation. We're a bit.
So what do you do in federation with a bar mitzvah?
In what respect?
Do you say Tachanun when there's a bar mitzvah? I think you do.
A long time since I've been.
Yeah. The Sephardim do not say Tachanun on a bar mitzvah, and the only time that I can recall not saying Tachanun here in this shul when there was a bar mitzvah was Tziel's sons. When they had their bar mitzvah, Tziel said,
No Tachanun?
It's a Sephardim minhag. We don't say Tachanun, and we weren't inside the shul, and so we weren't because
Where were you?
during COVID, so we were outside.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, we didn't say Tachanun when there was a mitzvah. You missed it.
Oh well,
When we had the party.
yeah. You had a party.
It was the visitors.
There's a
We had that
bar.
shop that morning. You were away.
Which mitzvah was that?
Someone came in and took over the shul.
It was
Oh, that one. No, I wasn't
And
here
then
for
we
that.
didn't say Tachanun
Oh
for
well,
that
see, if I'd have been here, I'd have made them say
Which one was
Tachanun.
that one? Which one was that one?
Sephardi, yeah, Sephardi. Sephardim don't say Tachanun on a bar mitzvah.
Why do we say Tachanun?
I don't know, Johnny. I don't know because I do know. I know what's written. Why we don't?
Yeah, well, and we daven not
because
Sfard.
because no,
Johnny.
but we're not Sephardim.
I know.
So the reason why Ashkenazim do say Tachanun on a bar mitzvah is that the bar mitzvah, the whole concept of bar mitzvah, is a late addition into our minhagim, and it's a made up thing, really. The actual,
It's not the Oraisa.
the actual when you hit 13, you become a bar mitzvah, whether you do something or you don't do something.
All the more reason why you should say Tachanun, because on that day is when the obligation you can say it is.
But that's that makes sense. That's a very Ashkenaz thing to say. That's why Ashkenazim say it, because Ashkenazim immediately are thinking about their sins straight
They're thinking
away.
about benchments.
And they have to start clapping and veining straight away. That makes sense. So the truth is that bar mitzvah, the concept of having a bar mitzvah ceremony is a very late addition. When I say very late addition, only a few hundred years. I don't know how many hundred years, but it's not an ancient, certainly.
My father always said when he had his bar mitzvah, it was the back. He was called up back of the shul, quick l'chaim.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So he becomes a bar mitzvah. What is a bar mitzvah? Bar means son of. Become a son of a mitzvah. You become obligated to do mitzvah. So the Sephardim, on the other hand, make a fuss, and they don't say Tachanun on bar mitzvah. Okay, so that is.
By the way, Nusach Sfard and Sfardim is not the same.
We've been through this on many occasions. Let's just see if there is any other days that we don't say Tachanun that we haven't mentioned. Somebody said Tu B'Shvat, right? We mentioned that. Pesach Sheni, we mentioned. Oh, there was one we missed.
Lag BaOmer.
Yes, thank you, Johnny. Well done, Lag BaOmer.
He's brilliant today. Johnny, I've never seen Johnny.
We said. Interesting, this one. Listen to this one. On Tisha B'Av, the Teimanim do recite Tachanun. And the original Italian nusach, which is the oldest nusach. Why is the Italian nusach the oldest nusach?
Because of the Pope.
They left Israel. They went there before the destruction.
Yeah, they went there. They were exiled to Rome. So the Italian nusach is the oldest nusach, and they say Tachanun on Tisha B'Av at Mincha, but not at Shacharit.
Okay.
Apparently. Okay. So I think we've got them all there. Yeah, I think we got all the days we don't say Tachanun. And of course, the Hasidim don't say it when they've got their Rebbes, and if you go to a real Hasidische Stiebel. Oh, I wanted to read you a story, but I don't think I printed it out. There was a story. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. He says here. This fellow says, I used to daven in a shul where they almost never said Tachanun, as they always found some yahrzeit. One day they had no yortzeit, no Rebbe, no Rebbe the Rebbe this, the Rebbe that. They couldn't find a Rebbe. And they said, Tachanun. One of the Alta Yidden in the back clapped on his table and says, "Was for a Yontov is heint? What kind of a Yontov is it today?" Right? So we're saying, because he was saying Tachanun. Right? Tachanun was never recited at a certain Hasidic shtibel. Each day was the yortzeit of some Rebbe. One day, no one could think of a Rebbe who had a yortzeit. "Whose yortzeit is today?" the Gabbai asked. No one responded. "I demand that someone tell me which Rebbe has a yortzeit." No response. "Do you mean to tell me that not one Rebbe ever died on this day?" The Gabbai thundered, "No Tachanun. There's no Rebbe ever died on this day. No Tachanun." That's Hasidim for you. Right, we never got to Alanissim. We'll do that Alanissim next week, please God.
Thank you so
I
much.
digressing slightly, you made an interesting point, because you said that why don't we say Tachanun on a Friday afternoon, because you've already got the simcha of Shabbat, and you're already in Shabbat mode.
Yeah.
And it was for that reason that we would never have an Avel to Daven Mincha
On Shabbos,
on
Erev Shabbos.
Shabbat.
Yeah. Now that's interesting. That's interesting because that's a Hasidic minhag. That's interesting. What Frank? Let me just say it for the recording. Frank said that. Where, are you talking about in Kenton, Stanmore?
Stanmore.
Kenton.
Kenton.
Stanmore as well.
Sorry. Yeah, I forgot you never actually made the move.
No.
So in Kenton, they would never allow an Avel to daven for the Erev of Shabbos.
And Stanmore.
on
Vine
Min-
Street as well.
And Vine Street. Vine Street, I can understand it because actually it's a Hasidic minhag. That Hasidic minhag is an Avel does not daven Erev Mincha, Erev Shabbos Mincha, and Nusach Ashkenaz. It is permitted.
Consistent with the concept of
It's very mixed
But
up.
it is consistent, but it's interesting because one wonders where that crept in from in Kenton and in Stanmore. Maybe because you had Hasidic rabbis.
No,
Did you
I
have
think-
Lubavitchers, maybe?
No, just encourage us.
Okay.
Jackson.
Yes, Jeff.
Choreography on the long.
He would have said maths.
Yes, Jeff.
A choreography question on the long Tachanun here, for when we are doing Sfard. Okay, because when we are saying Shema Israel, we're normally sitting down on the short version. But if we're standing up for Orachum, when we get to Shema Israel,
I mean, Shomei
Shema
Yisrael.
Israel, do we sit down or do we stand up? Because it's kind of
Okay, so in Nusach Sfard, you say your vidui, and then you do your Nefilah Sapayim Vayoma David al Gad,
yes,
and then you do your Vahurachum where you stood up,
yeah.
and then you've got your Shomei Yisrael.
Yes.
So the question Jeff is asking, should you then sit
Other
down?
days we're sitting down.
Should you then sit down for Shomei Yisrael in order that you can stand up for an
Say-
Achnul
Yeah,
Oneda?
say we don't. We're doing.
Well, I suppose if you are going to say that the choreography is important of Anachnu Lo Neda, we don't know what we're doing and we're up and we're down, then the answer would be yes.
Right.
I don't know what the answer is because, of course, I don't daven that nusach. I daven nusach Ashkenaz. I'll need to find that out. It's a very good question.
Are you still davening?
Yeah. The question really is, should person davening nusach Sfard sit down for Shomei Yisrael in a long Tachanun? Let's ask Johnny Halpin. Can you remember, Johnny, when you were in Vine Street, what they did?
I think we sat down, but I can't be honest. I can't remember.
Okay, ask Leo whether you sit down for Shomei Yisrael on a Monday and a Thursday.
Okay, I will.
Johnny Halpin's brother Leo is the font of all knowledge. He's a very knowledgeable man.
Johnny, you asked at the beginning about when were the 3 times we go like that. I can't. Did you mention when they were?
Yes, I said. Yes. If you've got to say for Torah, if you're in Yerushalayim,
right.
and if you're davening at the same time as the Kehillah.
That's right. Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's call it a day.